not losing interest at the bottom of the market and pay attention to this huge opportunity that's developing right in front of your eyes. Hey, listen, one of my trades, it just closed. Another one is quietly developing. And then there's a third setup that can actually get into play very soon. But I'm not going to reveal which one just yet. Right? Because right now, the market is doing something that makes most traders uncomfortable. Bitcoin just shifted structure. Momentum is no longer clean and bullish. Fear is actually starting to take hold again, and liquidity continues to stack, and emotions are starting to take over. Some traders, they're pooping their pants. Others are blindly buying, and others mostly are confused. But when the market reaches moments like this, that's when the real positioning happens. And that's really when you want to pay the most attention, okay? Because the trades we're developing right now are actually aligned with what's developing under the surface. Let's get into it. Let's go! So, in this video, I'm going to show you why the weekly structure just turned bearish, the key resistance Bitcoin keeps failing to break, why I expect to move into the weekly bullish order block, okay? Then we're going to talk about AVNT. Right? And why that trade stopped out. No problem. We're also going to talk about Solana. And we're going to talk about why that's almost at the profit objective. And then we're going to talk a little bit about Morpho, which is a setup that's forming. And, of course, the new Ethereum trade that's developing as well. So, do me a favor, people. Let's aim for 30 likes, okay? All you have to do is check out the links in the description. Press the like button 30 times. It really helps out. And you know what? If you want more structured analysis like this, simply subscribe to the channel. It really helps out. Just click the subscribe just like that. And also, remember, if you want the trades in real time, the Telegram link is right in the description. It's right there. So let's get into it, people. All right, so before we continue into the charts, let's talk a little bit about the macro. All right, so listen to this carefully. A billionaire once bought a small piece of land with Bitcoin. Today, that Bitcoin would be worth $1 billion, Mr. Powers. Let that sink in. Let's take a quick listen.
Real estate development in Lake Tahoe called Martis Camp. Beautiful. And I had owned a couple of lots. And I said, you know, it would be great if I actually could prove that you could buy real estate with Bitcoin. And I called the guys at BitPay and they were like, yeah, we can facilitate this transaction. No problem. I bought a piece of land. And then again, I thought this is an interesting story and the Wall Street Journal wrote about it. Now that piece of land is $1 billion.
But you cannot calculate this way, right? So
it's easy, I calculate.
Okay, so you get the idea. $1 billion. So let that sink in. Never underestimate Bitcoin. Oh, and by the way, Frank Yen, it's your friend CZ. Are you still friends with him now? No, me no friends with CZ. Oh, I thought you two made up. No, we no make up. Well, you need to get a little friendlier with people. I'm a dial. All right, my friend. All right, anyway, let's continue. Now, it gets even bigger. So here we have the White House just suggested that gold reserves may be used to purchase Bitcoin. Gold being converted to Bitcoin. Wow, that's interesting. That's a historical narrative shift. And it doesn't stop there. Look at this. We have the UAE just revealed that they've mined $453.6 million worth of Bitcoin. Countries aren't debating Bitcoin anymore. They're all in a race to accumulate it. And you need to pay attention to that because this is no longer retail speculation. This is a global race. Bitcoin is becoming the new electric gold. And when nations are starting to compete for supply, you know what that means. The race is on, people. All right, so let's get into the chart, shall we? We're going to begin here with the Bitcoin here on the weekly time frame. So for months, Bitcoin was printing higher lows and higher highs. We all know that. Textbook bullish structure. But the thing is, recently, we broke below the most recent low, and this has people nervous. This is not a small detail. When a higher low gets broken like that on the weekly time frame, momentum shifts. Now, price is hovering around the $65,000 region. This level is acting as a temporary support, but compared to the structure below, especially the weekly bullish order block, this area continues to show signs of weakness. So, what does that tell us? It tells us momentum has shifted from expansion to correction. And when weekly momentum shifts, moves tend to extend toward liquidity zones. The liquidity zone below 60,000 is obvious, and that's where the market is magnetized. Now, let's take a look at this on a smaller time frame, the daily. The story becomes even clearer. So, first, major supply zone around 90K. We remember that when that broke. That's where the selling began. The second major supply, 70,500. Price failed to close above that. Okay, the third key resistance around 70,000, that was the break level. Each time price tapped into these areas, it never actually closed above them. Instead, it created bearish legs. So that tells us one important thing right here. And that tells us that the bears are continuing to defend these zones aggressively. This isn't random rejection. This is structured supply. So until we reclaim and close above 70,500, which is the key level right here, right? Convincingly, daily structure favors continuation lower. Probability is what is greater than forecasting. So you have to keep that in mind, right? Now, before I get into the 4-hour time frame, remember, all my trades are tracked transparently on the Profits Precision platform. Every entry, every exit, every adjustment, and all the trades happen live in my Telegram channel. To get there, all you have to do is check the links in the description, and look, it's right there, all right? YouTube is where we show the analysis, and you see things pretty much after the fact. But Telegram is where it all happens in real time. All the links are in the description. Now, let's move along. So we have Bitcoin 4-hour. This is where the mechanics are visible, right? There was a rising trend line that was acting as support. Price respected it multiple times. Then what? It broke. After the break, price retested the trend line from below. Classic technical behavior. And now we're seeing that test again, and this is textbook. Break, retest, continuation lower. The next logical location is the weekly bullish order block, which, we was just sitting just above that. So that becomes a profit objective or a price objective, right? And you want to keep a close eye on that. Now, speaking of that, going lower, let's talk about AVNT real quick. I got stopped out, man. But hey, it happens, all right? 1% loss, approximately $100.56, completely fine. If you can't handle that, you're in the wrong game. As Michael Saylor would say, my friend, you should open an account at your local bank and collect interest, so at least it's stress-free, right? Okay, that's part of the game, man. So you know what? And it's offset by the Solana trade. Let's take a look at that real quick. Oh, check this out. So the Solana was short, right? I entered around 87.90. I put on the second entry at 88.19, full 1% risk, and price respected structure perfectly. It basically consumed liquidity, it rejected resistance, and continued lower exactly as anticipated. And we're now getting into the key profit objective around 79.08. And then, so what am I doing? Nothing. I just moved the stop to stop loss to the entry, right? So it's break even and it's risk-free. That's it. This is a free trade. So either it goes to the profit objective and we collect the full reward risk, or it comes back and we walk away break even. That's called risk management. And we protect capital first, profits are secondary. All right, so this trade shows how important structured-based entries are. Now let's get into Morpho, all right? So this is a new trade that was called in Telegram yesterday I think this thing came out. So this trade, right, Morpho tapped the resistance, it took liquidity, and now it's pulling back into the entry zone. I mean, the setup was shared, all right? So I'm waiting for the bullish confirmation. And if I see the strong momentum shift, I'll go long. But remember, patience carries the priority here. All right, let's move along to the next one. So now we have Ethereum. This is the new trade, right? So Ethereum formed a bearish flag. It pulled back, it consolidated, retested the trend line, and then broke lower. I entered the market around 1927 with a stop loss at 1963 and a profit objective at 1852. It's a 2-to-1 reward risk, and I'm risking 1% of the account. The structure supports continuation lower. Simple probability trade. That's all it is, okay? So now, people, real quick, let me just talk to you about the trade challenge update here. Okay, so I'm trying to grow the account from $10,000 to $100,000. All trades are in real time. There's no hindsight. You see everything, all the details, every entry, every stop. As you can see, the new trade was factored into this, right? And it's pulled back a little bit. Okay, the stop loss. All right, no problem. Now, the AVNT, right? You can see that here. The Solana almost at full take profit. So, around 2% reward risk. That's almost locked in, right? And Ethereum, the fresh 2-to-1 setup is now active and Morpho is still developing, right? It's not an actual trade yet. This is how professional trades work. So, people, all these trades are being taken on the WeX platform. right? So this is great for tight spreads, smooth trades, low fees, and it's great for these type of markets. So, and when you're looking at precision entries, this really matters. And all of the results that I've said, they're being documented in the Profits Precision platform, right? So you want to make sure you're using that as well. All right, so people, quick recap before I wrap this up. So the macro, we know nations are accumulating in Bitcoin. And the global race narrative is strengthening. Bitcoin weekly, structure shift. And we're going toward the weekly bullish order block, which implies bearish. Okay, then we have the daily time frame. Major resistance respected, and we're looking for the bearish liquidity that's in focus. The AVNT trade stopped out, 1% controlled loss. Okay, the Solana trade, right? Strong short, profit objective is nearly there. And then we have Ethereum, right? Fresh bearish continuation, set up 2-to-1 reward risk. And then we have Morpho, waiting for bullish confirmation. The market is positioning for a major move, and we are positioned. Now, people, do me a favor. Now, you know, all right, if you're watching this and you're not inside the Telegram, you are literally missing the real action. All the entries are shared live. The management is shared live. And the adjustments are also shared there in real time. The market is compressing, and when the weekly level breaks, it's going to move big. And I don't want to hear you guys crying that you missed it, because it's all going to be in the Telegram channel. I'm positioning myself in real time. So if you're serious about the markets, join the Telegram. All you have to do is go to the description right here. The link is right there in the description, and everything else you need, okay? So don't watch from the sidelines. Make sure that you're in this so that we could be in this together. All right, people. So take it easy, take it slow, and I will see you in the next one.